Welcome to everyone. Lindsay, you're still muted. We're excited. We're excited about this pitch competition. We want to welcome everybody to the program this evening. We have a host for this program, and that's going to be Lindsay, not me. So I'm going to hand the reins over to her in just a second. But I want to encourage you, all of you who are watching right now, if you have a student who is going to be in the pitch competition this evening, shout them out in the comments. Let them know that you're here for them, that you're here to support them. And also take a moment right here at the beginning of the program to share the stream. Start a watch party with friends and family. We want to make sure that this experience is shared with the entire community that we have around this platform. I want to take a moment to introduce Lindsay Hafner. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Kirk?
Good. What time is it out in Redlands?
It is 5 p.m.
5 p.m. It is 7 p.m. here in Huntsville. And this is amazing what we're able to do here to have this kind of collaboration, to have Lindsay and me on screen at the same time to host this event. This is amazing. Another testimony to what is possible through technology and through through God's providence. We have a power-packed evening for you, so we're not going to take up a lot of time. I want to give this time over to Lindsay, who is a pastor there in Redlands, California. And she is not only going to host us tonight, but she's going to start us off with devotion, with a devotional message. So, Lindsay, the time is yours.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, I had it in my talk to introduce myself, but Kirk already did that. My name's Lindsay Hafner, and I am a youth pastor over at Redlands, just to refresh your memory if you forgot from when he said my name. Well, I'm very excited to be with you all. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Noah Centineo, who is the star to All the Boys I've Loved Before, the series of that. One of the new movies just came out. Just a general Gen Z heartthrob, I think we could say. And in 2019, Noah won Best Comedy Movie Star at the Red Carpet Award Show. Maybe some of you saw clips from this. He got up and he gave the normal accolades, thanking mentors in his life, his friends, his family, production companies, and so on. But as he was wrapping up his speech, he ended with this quote that I think he thought was meaningful, and I think the rest of the world just found funny. He said, "It matters not what you've done, but what you do with what you've done for others." And immediately the internet rallied with memes and GIFs and tweets roasting Noah for this extremely awkward attempt at an inspirational quote. And as cumbersome as the words sounded, they actually do mean something significant, right? The sentiment of what you do is meaningless, but what brings meaning is actually whom you're doing things for. Because if you're only accomplishing things for yourself, you're sailing into emptiness at a very rapid pace. Well, I worked at summer camp, one of the most meaningful experiences of my life, and I had the privilege of hanging out with a lot of different people there, including a lot of campers. And I remember one time I was hanging out with a camper. His name was Ryan. He was 7 or 8, and he was such a good time. He was so hilarious. He always made me laugh. We were in the cafeteria one day, and we were nibbling on whatever was for supper, and he was negotiating with this piece of paper. He was folding it, very determined to make something out of it. And we were kind of chatting the whole time. And finally, he decided he was done, and he lifted it up and showed it to me, and it looked kind of like a paper airplane. And I said, "Ryan, that's really cool." And he looked at me and, he delivered this line like Leonardo DiCaprio or something. He said, "Once this was a piece of paper, but with great skill and determination, it has become the icon of Floppy Crane Airlines." And I think about Ryan a lot in this story because it's kind of profound that Ryan didn't just see the piece of paper as just a piece of paper. He knew the full potential of that piece of paper, that with just a little bit of growth and development, it could become something iconic. Another story that comes to mind in the context of living to your full potential is that of Matthew 25. Jesus tells the story in the New Testament. It's the parable of the talents. The message translation calls this the story about investment, where a man leaves a few servants in charge of various amounts of money, depending on their abilities. The first two servants, who were allotted the greatest amount of money, quickly double what they were given. The third servant, however, employs kind of a strange strategy. He buries his money. And so when the master comes back, you may remember the first two report the financial increase, but the third man proudly declares, "I buried the money and didn't lose any of it." In verse 26 and 27, we hear the master's response. He says, "That's a terrible way to live. It's criminal to live cautiously like that. If you knew I was after the best, why did you do less than the least? The least you could have done would have been to invest the sum with the bankers, where at least I would have gotten a little interest. Take the 1,000 and give it to the one who risked the most, and get rid of this play it safe mentality who won't go on a limb. Throw him out into utter darkness." I would argue that learning and living your greatest potential is a biblical principle. And this parable illustrates it in the context of money, but really there are countless examples of Jesus empowering people to find their highest potential in all facets of their lives. Whether it is the story of the rich young ruler or Nicodemus, Mary or Martha, Jesus always challenges us to live our greatest potential. And of course, our greatest potential ultimately is a life with Jesus. Well, we're going to hear some great ideas tonight, and we're going to see our judges invest in those ideas and in the students here who are committed to unlocking their greatest potential. And as dazzling as these proposals may be, the greatest idea you could ever invest in is, of course, ultimately a relationship with Jesus. Let's pray as we begin. Jesus, thank you for the innovation and the creativity and the brilliance of these students who are about to present. Jesus, I just want to pray a prayer of blessing over them, that you would calm their nerves, you would give them words for their presentation, help them to present clearly. But Jesus, ultimately, everything we do here, we want to do for your glory. So may that be the case here tonight. We love you so much. In your name, amen. All right, well, we are excited to be doing this for a consecutive year in an online format. And this year we have been working with Oakwood's business department, as well as the OU Launchpad Entrepreneurship Center, to inspire students and help them in pursuit of their business ideas and start their own businesses. Tonight we have 6 participants pitching their ideas for a chance to win the following prizes. First place is going to be $5,000, second place $3,000, and third place $2,000. Each team will have 6 minutes to pitch, followed by a Q&A of 4 minutes from our judge panel. Since we are doing everything in an online format this year, I will interfere in the presentation to give you a 1-minute warning and let you know when time is up. After all 6 teams have pitched, the judges will be deliberating in a live format and announcing the winners themselves. But before we get started, I would like to introduce our judges for the night. First off, we have Kevin Welch, who is the president of Schussboomer Group. I should have asked how to say that beforehand. An investment management firm focused on funding emerging technologies. Kevin is also a senior advisor to Francisco Partners and an operating partner with Endeavor Capital. Kevin is a technologist by training and is a graduate of Stanford University. Hello, Kevin.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yes. That's Kevin. Next up, we have Iris Fry. She serves as a founder and chief innovator at Parity Health Information Technology, LLC, and executive director at CNI Solutions. In 2020, the Healthcare Information and Management Systems Society named her as one of the most influential women in health information technology. Hello, Iris. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so impressed by reading all of these. Next, we have Vern Gohana. He received his Bachelor of Science degree in Organizational Management from Oakwood University and Master of Business Administration from Columbia College. He comes to Oakwood University from the U.S. Department of Treasury Internal Revenue Service, where he served as a revenue officer. Vern enlisted in the United States Marine Corps in 1988 and is a veteran of the First and Second Gulf Wars, serving as an enlisted infantryman. Hello, Vern. How are you?
Good evening, Lindsay. It's great to be here. Thank you.
Yes. All right. And then next up, we have Tony Eberhardt. Tony works in corporate communications at Mazda Toyota Manufacturing, a $2.3 billion automotive OEM plant jointly owned by Mazda and Toyota in Huntsville, Alabama. Tony is nationally recognized as a leader in entrepreneurial ecosystem building initiatives and is specialized in strategic communications, community engagement, and corporate brand development. Tony, how are you?
Hey everyone, I'm doing great. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Okay, I believe that is all of our judges. Thank you all for being here so much. We're just going to jump right in. We're going to proceed to the next portion here. I have been tasked with keeping the timer on our contestants, which is not a job I'm excited about. I'm not excited to cut them off when they go too long, if they go too long. But that's part of the job. So the first pitch we're going to hear from is, I believe it's Iman Purnell. We can see. The project I have here is IMVN Art. I don't see Iman on the screen. Do you guys see? Oh, there she is.
Hello. Sorry.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I was just going to ask you, where are you streaming from? Are you in Huntsville or somewhere else?
I'm currently in Tennessee.
Tennessee. Where in Tennessee?
Chattanooga.
Chattanooga. I lived there last year. It's a nice little spot.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and let you start your spiel, and I will start the timer. Does that sound okay?
Sounds great.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready. Hello and good evening. My name is Iman Purnell. I am the owner of Iman Art, and today I will be pitching my small business to you. This here is a graphic illustration that I made for a finance company called Sensei. I designed it before I interned there with them. And these here are some illustrations that I did. Some of them are commission based. Let's see if I can show you. This here, the Ignite one, I designed for a small campus group on Oakwood's campus called Ignite. They needed a design for a t-shirt and I hooked them up. This design here was done for another small campus on Oakwood's campus called Three Oaks. However, it was not officially used as it was more so of a class project. And this illustration that you see up here of this baby girl was done for a grandfather who reached out to me through Facebook and asked me to draw his granddaughter. Whoops. Iman Art is a digital media corporation that focuses on diversity and inclusion through fun various digital media. I provide illustration, animation, and graphic design services. Diversity in media and employment in the arts is not as common and diverse as it should and could be. As you can see, over 70% of those employed are Caucasian, and those who play leading roles in animations and illustrations are as well. Iman Art will fix this problem by hiring a diverse array of illustrators, animators, and graphic designers who will receive equal pay based on experience and talent, and by creating a diverse array of illustrations, graphic arts, and animations. I plan to find the employees by hiring freelance artists on a contract basis until full-time work can be compensated for. Volunteer work and internships are an option as well. My current target market are companies that are in need of graphic design and media services, whether it be for the purpose of advertising and marketing. Currently, 73% of businesses invest in design to help their brand stand out against their competition. Only 3% of small businesses indicated that design is not important based on a survey by 99 Designs. Our second target market are for 20-year-olds that are seeking commission-based artwork, anyone over the age of 20, excuse me. Currently, I have raised over $3,000 and have worked with 50 plus clients over the past several years, and each commission has been a 100% success rate. Everyone loved their artwork. My plan for growth for Iman Art is to first hire graphic artists, illustrators, and animators and move from commission payment to a full salary system after getting contracts from smaller businesses. Next, I will put a marketing strategy into motion through Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube ads and videos. And I will purchase tools and equipment to create a wide variety of content for projects. The graphic design market is on the verge of a boom, and I want to tap into it. Below, I have listed how I plan to use the investment money. I will invest into the design equipment needed, such as a Cintiq and a new laptop, design software, and media advertising. Iman Art's big picture overall is that I want to work with companies that come to us for digital media services and to correct the lack of diversity in the art force and the media scene today. And that's my presentation.
All right, thank you so much, Iman. That was wonderful. I'm going to open it up now. We have 4 minutes scheduled for any questions and answers with our judges. So judges, the floor is yours.
Okay, Amon, I have a question. So what insights did you draw from your user research, and how did you incorporate this into your design?
Can you ask that question again? I'm sorry.
So when you did your user research, basically, and they were given their advice as far as your drawing, did you take any of that advice and incorporate it into your designs?
Oh, yes, of course. I always I always make sure to have good communication with my clients whenever it comes to the design work and illustrations to ensure that the product that they're looking for comes to life.
Okay. So that's how you was looking at your user research. Okay.
Ms. Purnell, I have some questions. The first question I have, your software and IT needs, are these items that you're looking at acquiring, are they entry-level, mid-level, high-end? Where are you coming in with your wish list?
These are a mixture of entry-level and high-level. It really depends on the skill set that the individual has when it comes to using these tools. I've been drawing all my life, and I've always used the Wacom tablets, which is the Cintiq mentioned. So it would be second nature for me to use it. Other softwares like Autodesk Maya and Toon Boom, that would take some time to understand and learn the program.
Okay. And the second question I have, if you were to pursue larger companies, maybe a mid-sized university or a television or production studio, would the software that you're looking at obtaining through this grant, if you were to be successful, would it be adequate to be able to pursue those kinds of opportunities, or would you be limited to maybe smaller projects?
I believe that the softwares and the tools mentioned earlier would be more than enough to work with medium or larger companies. In the industry, it is very common to use Cintiqs and Autodesk Maya and Toon Boom. Those are actually the standards in the art industry, especially in illustration and animation. When it comes to graphic design, it's more so the Adobe products, but that's something that I use every day already.
Okay, so this is going to position you well to be competitive right out the door.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, I've got a question. You know, you were very non-specific about which markets you were going to address. Clearly, you know, smaller businesses have less money. You know, larger businesses have more money to spend on marketing. But have you thought about specializing? Because it seems like you're trying to be everything to everybody right now, and usually it doesn't work that way. You know, you're really good at one particular thing, and you keep working at that market. Have you thought about that?
I have not thought that far, no.
Okay, an example, I know many media firms that are doing very similar things to what you're doing. They specialize in a particular market niche. Like they're really good at just say healthcare. They only work with hospitals or so on. And then they really learn what that industry needs. So then this follow-on question is, how are you going to get people to buy your services?
Well, I believe that with the service that I have now, a lot of people would be interested in it, either whether it's through social media and advertisements, where they see the advertisement that I would put out on social media. Word of mouth is another way that I would get my business out there, as that's already how people really find me. I also have several websites up, a website up and a portfolio that people are able to access me through.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to cut you guys off right there. Thank you so much, Iman, for your presentation. We're going to move right along to the next one. The second pitch we have tonight is Michael Marshall, and he is pitching a project called Damaged Goods. So Michael, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Hi, how are you?
Awesome, I'm great. How are you?
I'm great as well.
Good. Michael, can you tell us what's your major?
So I'm a visual arts media major and I minor in business marketing.
Awesome. All right, well, you know the rules. You have 6 minutes to present, and I'm going to go ahead and hand the floor over to you.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, good evening to you all. I'm excited to pitch my clothing brand, Damaged Goods, and our slogan is "Your imperfections do not define you." You can also find us on Instagram at damagedgoods.us. Damaged Goods is a clothing brand created by me. As a young person, I always prided myself on trying to find new and innovative ways to create for me and my friends. Damaged Goods is inspired by observing the everyday struggle of the youth in today's society that are not always talked about. And we seek to use our social media platform to shift the mindset of the youth through positive and creative messages. What is Damaged Goods? We are all damaged. Damaged Goods is more than just a clothing brand, but a daily reminder that we do not have to fit or conform into the standards that society has placed on us. Damaged Goods is the acceptance that you are flawed, but your flaws should never hold you back from being the person who you are destined to be. As you see here, it talks about our target audience, which is the youth demographic ages 14 through 26. But more than any demographic, race, or ethnicity, Damaged Goods is for those people who see that they are flawed, but accept their imperfections and see that it doesn't hold them back from being who they can be, but it can only make them greater. As you can see here, this is our timeline so far. On August 24, we announced our launch of our brand through Instagram. And October 23rd was our first launch ever for the brand, where we had various articles of clothing ranging between trucker hats and graphic tees. On November 10th, we released our second launch, which had various colors of the trucker hat between blue, black, and pink. On December 25th was when we launched our first full collection with hoodies, sweats, and trucker hats as well. These are the products that I just spoke about earlier. As you see here, the t-shirts and the trucker hats were from the first and second release, and the sweatpants and the hoodies are from our current release, which had various colors as well, with colors ranging from blue, black, and pink. Our social media has gained steady growth so far, gaining over 50 followers within the first week and 132 followers within the first 30 days. And since our brand launch, we have seen steady growth as well, and now standing at over 500 followers. 64% of our followers are in the age ranges between 18 to 24, and 26% are in the age ranges of 25 to 30 and 34, with 53% of our followers being women and 47 of our followers being men. As you see here, this is just a reiteration of the last slide that I showed you. But if you look at top locations, our fan base has grown the most in Huntsville because that's where Damaged Goods is located. And in the last picture you see, within the last 30 days, our following has gained 18.3% so far. Our marketing strategy is heavily based in Instagram, and through Instagram, our content is key. Our marketing strategy also ranges between giveaways, promotional videos, brand ambassadors, pop-up stores, and promotional ads. This is our total revenue so far. In the month of October, between the trucker hats and the graphic tees, we made over $970. In the second month of November, we made over $1,600 with trucker hats alone. And in the month of December, we made over $1,300 through trucker hats, hoodies, and sweatpants. And in the month of January, we made it over $1,000 as well. What's next for Damaged Goods? Damaged Goods has a collaboration with LA-based clothing brand No Knowledge set to release in late March, along with the pop-up store event in California. Our spring collection is set to release early April, and our summer collection is set to release in late May, early June. Here's a promotional ad that we pushed via Instagram.
This has been your principal, Daryl Chode. Have a great life and stay cozy.
Knows just what to do when his head becomes a fool. In his head, he ain't a fool. Pushing weight.
This has been your principal, Daryl.
And here's also additional promotional video featuring me.
Will you remember the rain? Will you remember the rain? You left me for somebody else. Now I must face life by myself.
Why invest in Damaged Goods? Investing in us is investing in the community. The brand's next big investment will be in our very own direct-to-garment printer, so that we can not only cut out the expenses for outsourcing screen printers, but be able to service the other inspiring clothing brands within the community with screen printing at affordable prices.
You've got 1 minute left, Michael.
Okay. Thank you, and stay damaged. That's it.
Perfect timing. I
Yeah.
didn't need to give you the warning, huh?
No.
Okay. So, Michael, at this point, we're going to open it up to the judges, and there are 4 minutes for you guys to do Q&A. So I'll go ahead and be quiet, and you guys can start with that.
Hey, Michael. This is Tony. I have a couple questions for you. First, I just wanted to offer that I really like your brand. I think that you've got a strong brand going. I think my energy just went out. Sorry. Good thing my battery's charged. Okay. So I wanted to ask in your market research, though. So I really like your brand. I think it's a good vibe. But have you kind of tested how people feel about the use of being called damaged? Is there any data that you have to suggest that that's resonating with the target market that you're after?
So I think the data really shows more so in the following we gained in the understanding of the word. She's still okay. She's still here. So the use of the word damage, that I really decided to take that because I know that's a strong word, and I know through social media a lot of times, like, we try to present the image, the best possible image that we possibly can, and we always want to be seen and perceived as perfect. Whereas when you accept that you are damaged, that just is a whole different level that kind of shows, okay, like, we understand our flaws and we accept them and we can move on, and we know that it that's why the use of the word damaged goods is so strong, because it's not only damaged but we are good. We also have another slogan that's you are damaged, but even though you're damaged, you're still good. And so we kind of just push that message as well, that, in this world, we're all flawed and we all suffer from imperfections that we're not okay with. But the fact that we can accept it and move on is the most important part.
Okay, thanks.
Mhm.
I do have two follow-up questions. You noted that your market strategy is based on Instagram. Is that where your sales came from?
So I think a lot of them come from sales. So through the online, like, that's where we push everything. So when we have a new release or we have something new coming out, it's usually pushed through, I want to say, Instagram alone, sometimes like other social media platforms, but that's really where it comes from. And we've seen great traction so far. We were able to do some pop-up shows in the month of November. But other than that, it's really just through the online market that's, fed straight directly through Instagram.
Okay, Mr. Marshall, I have a question.
Yes,
First,
sir.
what is your major?
Visual arts media and a minor in business marketing.
Okay. I was looking over your business plan, and in your SWOT analysis, you mentioned one of your threats is vendor turnaround. Can you flesh that out a little bit for me?
Okay, so like, I want to say on the first design that I ever had, which was the graphic tees, I was set to release them very early on, like at a certain date, but the only reason that I was held back was because of the screen printer that I was going through is a really big issue, and I know that for a lot of my friends that have newer brands are trying to create brands, they face that problem a lot of times, whether it's the turnaround with the people they go through or it just not being up to par at all.
Okay. Where do you get the majority of your materials from?
So recently, there's somebody in the Huntsville area that prints, and he also sells products wholesale, which is where I got the sweats and the hoodies and other materials that he sells. So I'm able to go straight through him directly for the printing and the garments as well.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Michael. Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
That's great. So it was a very solid presentation. Now, in your SWOT analysis, you had limited staffing and resources. I noticed that you were trying to scale your product. However, I didn't hear anything about a strong and complete founding team or a plan to get the team. Can you tell me, is that in the works? Do you have a plan in order to establish a founding team as you scale?
For sure. So, as a new business, I've just been really using my family and friends so far, because all the resources and the money that I have, as a struggling young college student, I have to source everything myself really, and through the printer and the other opportunities that I'll get using that, I think that I'll be able to expand my business to not only just be a clothing brand, but a multifaceted organization that can help other clothing brands build their own things, so that I can actually create resources to have people under me who can work under me and that can get paid under me through that. So it will take some time, of course, but I think that the best route through that is being able to become someone who can create products for other brands as well as not just my own.
And one other question I have, in order to sell to the masses, will you eventually drop the aspect of politics from your brand?
What do you mean by that?
I seen when you were talking about today's politics, and I wanted to know, is this something that you planning on putting out in your advertising with the political legal factors?
So for me, I think with my brand, when it expands, I feel like it will be more so niche driven. So I think that every facet of the brand that I have right now, I can push, even when it scales more, because it's only for a certain group of people, and I don't think that everybody will understand that as I expand and I grow, because with clothing brands, especially in the streetwear and urban community, it's really more so based in that field, in that group of people. So I don't feel like I would have to change that more so, or take that out of what I'm doing.
Okay.
Michael, I've got a question.
Yes,
Other
sir.
than the design, obviously, that you have on your products, what else differentiates them from other things? Because it sounds like you're just sourcing your products, your hoodies and so on, just from whatever the printer has on on hand. Is that enough to make you a successful brand?
Okay, so I think that the thing that really pushes damaged goods more than any clothing brand is that the message that we push is bigger than clothing. It's not just clothing, but it's an ideology that everybody accepts. And I pride myself on creating new and innovative designs and always trying to do something new through graphic design and all the aspects of the brand. So I think that in some type of way, my designs will always differentiate from other brands. And then like I said, the message alone, I feel like can really push it as far as it can go as a clothing brand.
Well, I would suggest that you think about that a little more carefully because I'm familiar with a couple of brands, although I'm not an expert in your field, but Patagonia and Arc'teryx. Both of those control their supply chain, and their products are way better than what you can buy
Hmm.
just from some printer.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
and because they're using better quality materials, and also they're embodying in their manufacturing processes other things that are important to that their consumers, like the sustainability of their manufacturing processes, the materials that they use, the people that they use to produce these things. And so, is that something you thought about, or is it just you're just very focused on design?
Okay, for sure. I definitely get your question more so now. So, even with the collab that I mentioned earlier, it's interesting because so far I've been trying to move on a smaller scale. So I've been mostly doing screen printing and things like that. But with these new designs that we have coming out soon, with the collaboration I'm doing with the LA-based brand, they're all being made from scratch, and we get to actually sit down and go through the materials and decide the best route to take as a clothing brand. So it's going beyond. So even just now, even though it's a brand that's just started, it's already going beyond, just that one facet of being able to screen print and go on designs. I kind of just saw that as a stepping stone and trying to be realistic with my market and the sources that I had around me. But in the long run, I want to get into cut and sew and different facets of fashion and high fashion beyond just screen printing.
Okay, I'm gonna have to cut you guys off there. But excellent questions and excellent answers, Michael. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for presenting.
For sure. Thank you guys all so much for that.
Next up, we've got Robin Michael, and her project is called Conversion, CONVRSN. Hi, Robin. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hello.
Hello. Robin, where are you streaming from tonight?
Huntsville, Alabama.
Huntsville. Okay, so you are there, actually, the real deal. And what's your major?
Nursing major.
Okay, then I'm going to start the timer. You have 6 minutes. Just go ahead and begin whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you. So, Conversion is an inspirational streetwear brand, and we pride ourselves of the mission scripture found in Romans 12:2, of not basically summarizing to not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And we pride ourselves because of my story of where I started. Growing up, I struggled with finding the right clothes to wear for my size. And along with finding the person who I was, I found I was conforming to my friend groups and how they were acting and whatever they were saying. And this behavior carried to college at Oakwood University. And years ago, I was subjected to abusive relationships that I had kept from my families and friends, and I felt really isolated and alone. And God helped me through that and allowed me to create and to put together my two passions, which is fashion and God, together to create Conversion, to share with you guys. And hello, I'm Robin Michael, and I'm CEO and founder of Conversion. And Conversion is used to inspire teens and young adults to build a relationship with God. These are the profits from November 2020 to February 2021. And you see here that we have a revenue of $1,445. And we have revenue ventures. We have gone through special events. Here in Huntsville, Alabama, we went to a Black Business Expo, and Conversion made $850, becoming the most profit earned that day of all the booths. The Von Braun Playhouse booth, we went there to really give people an understanding of what conversion is all about, because they're going to be seeing it more in the community. And Southern Adventist University actually went there for their BCU night, and just so we can open our diversity and for people of all colors and sizes to really understand what conversion is all about. And so Conversion is having a problem. Well, this world is having a problem with appearance and identity, and conversion is used to break the society norms of appearance. When you first look at someone, you're subconsciously judging them based off of what they wear already. So conversion is trying to give you an alternative, something else to wear, as well as identity. People in today's world, we don't really understand who we are, and that's where conversion comes in with the solution. Conversion has a variety of unisex streetwear designs, not only made with the best quality, but creates an interpersonal experience of building a closer relationship with Christ. We do this through community service, prayers, online ministries. Those online ministries, we focus more on Instagram and TikTok. With IG television, we get the viewers into devotionals and series and episodes, so they're excited to know more and what's next. And we have Facebook and our website as well. And so the Verse collection is our latest fall collection where we sell hoodies, sweatpants, masks, and we also have updated it to sell accessories as well. And our target audience is teen and young adults. We've picked this target audience because we believe that this is our future. This is the generation. And younger kids are looking up to this age group the most of what they want to be when they get older. So that's why Conversion targeted that audience. The Classic Conversion was our first collection that we've made. So far, we have 2 collections, and every day we're moving and we're building more revenue in that regard in these 2 collections that we have. Conversion is a lifestyle. Not only that we talk the talk, but we walk the walk. We go out into our community and we show what conversion is all about, that we're not just a brand, an inspirational clothing brand, but we're actually an organization or a storefront that wants to do more in their community. And we have various colors. It's unisex apparel, so man and female can wear it, and very soft and wearable. This is our most popular hoodie. It's a Salt of the Earth hoodie that has been selling the most. So we are wanting you to invest in conversion for the simple reason of investing in the children. And this world that we're living in is evil, and it's getting worse every day with COVID, with wildfires, with tsunamis. We really don't know what to expect from tomorrow. So you will be investing in your children's spiritual well-being and future in this world and the next. With the investment, one tonight is going to be used for the machinery, for conversions machinery, trademark and legal, and marketing. And with conversion, we have a saying that when you put on conversion, you put on a layer of God, and this is the conversion guarantee. And you can see us next with Oakwood Farm Shops. We are connecting with Oakwood to set up booths and online shopping, of course, and modeling ministries in October, in the fashion show. And these are some conversion testimonials from our customers wearing it. We had a 12-day Christmas giveaway, just praying with our customers or asking them if they need any prayer, DMing them, and them just showing love that, we stand with conversion. And you can ask us anything. We would love to hear from you. This is our email and our website. Thank you so much. And I'm now opening the floor for questions.
Thanks, Rob. And I'm going to start the clock. We've got 4 minutes for questions.
Okay, Ms. Michael, well, I'll go first. I was looking in your SWOT analysis. I'm glad that you took the time to develop it and think about it. In your SWOT analysis, I think there is a strength that you left out a little bit. So I want to give you an opportunity to kind of talk about it. So, and I don't mean to be demeaning because I'm a Christian. I love Christ. Christians will put a fish or a cross on anything. That is a built-in market that people are going to see your brand and they're going to want to identify with it. How do you think about going after that Christian market as your base for your clothing brand versus trying to evangelize and get the message across to a general layperson and then getting them to convert and then wear your brand? Talk to me about that, because it was not one of your strengths that I think it should have been listed.
Yes, thank you for your question. Well, I believe that with the logo is very strong and it's symbolic. And I wanted to give both people who are stronghold Christians that opportunity to wear that symbol and be strong in that symbol, and also people who want to wear a bold message and something that they believe in, a message like salt of the earth or good intentions, for example. That's another hoodie message that's on there. But you have an opportunity for stronghold Christians to wear a bold statement like that symbol, and also for people who still need, who want to explore conversion more, want to still wear the hoodie, but is not a full-hold Christian, but still wants to represent a strong, powerful message to their friends or family. So we included that both into options when customers are buying.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
I would like to say kudos to you on your tagline. When you put on conversion, you put on the layer of God. That one-liner says so much about your business, and it's very imperative that when someone sees that, they're automatically interested in learning more about what you have to offer. And definitely kudos to you on that aspect. It seems as though that you have a great plan in place, and you've thought it's well thought out. Where do you see yourself going next as far as with your brand?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for your question. I see us growing, especially with COVID. We know that brick and mortar stores are kind of losing business, and online shopping is becoming more accepted, especially now everybody is in their homes. So we wanted to build our online platform, and we wanted to also, even though we wanted to have a distribution center, so that is something that in the next 5 years, I really wanted to get that up and going and not just keep it at a small business. I want it to grow. So a distribution center is most definitely where I wanted to go, but keeping it online. And also just to add, we wanted to go into the community. So not just staying online, but like we're doing pop-up shops now, going to communities, and that's part of the conversion experience, is also teaching and allowing people to understand what God is all about.
I think we have time for one more question or two really short ones.
I guess I'll jump in. I guess first thing, I didn't really see anything on your team of having people who have experience in creating products and in manufacturing. It's all, promotion and, internet marketing. What do you think about that? At the end of the day, you're selling a physical product, and that has to be created and produced. And if there's a problem, you've got to fix it.
Right now, I am doing all the problem solving myself, and with the teams I collab, but mostly all of the corrections I make myself. I create the designs also by myself and have a team to bounce off ideas. But in a couple of months, I'm trying to work together to have a broader team to iron out those problems, so it could get we can get the problem solved faster and more efficiently.
All right. Thank you so much, Robin. You have done an excellent job presenting.
Thank you so much.
Next up, we've got Yasmin Lebrun, and she is presenting her project called Why Visuals Photography. So Yasmin, if you can hear me. Oh, I see you. Can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Awesome. Okay, Yasmin, what is your major?
My major is photojournalism, ma'am.
Okay, and where are you streaming from tonight?
Huntsville, Alabama.
Also Huntsville. Okay, very cool. Well, I'm going to give you a 1 minute warning when you have 1 minute left, but other than that, you have 6 minutes, and I will start the clock when you start presenting.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Yasmin Lebrun. I am a student at Oakwood University. I am a Nikon certified photographer. I'm so sorry. I am a certified Nikon photographer, and give me 1 second. I'm so sorry. My name is Yasmin Lebrun. I am a certified Nikon user, and I currently attend Oakwood University. Give me a second. Our mission is to provide the utmost professional service to our clients and to ensure exceptional quality to their photogenic experience. I fell in love with photography at a really young age after seeing my dad's work with the media team at Southeastern Conference. At a young age, my mom told me that when I was young, I went in front of the church pulpit and I went on one knee and I took a picture with my toy camera. And from then, she knew that photography was going to be my life for a long, long time. I got more comfortable with photography by taking pictures of friends and family. And by doing so, I ran into my mentor, Mr. Wendell Deltrius. A fun fact, this picture at the bottom right is where we actually first met. In my junior year of high school, I felt proficient enough to register my business as an LLC. So far, I have been in business for 6 years, gathering over 300 clientele. My business offers summer camp courses to ages 10 to 17. The reason why I went into teaching summer courses, because at a young age, I felt like I am never too young to start my dream. So I wanted to encourage other young children now in our generation that, you know, whatever ideas that you have, you know, go for it. There's never an age to determine, you know, what you can get done. You know, I had the pleasure of actually working with gospel artist Ty Tribbett and his family in Orlando, Florida. I've worked with other high profile clients such as social media stars, authors, and more. And as far as travel photography, I've been flown to various states and cities across the country. Here you can see some of my work mixed with wedding and editorial portraits. The future. I plan to open up my photography studio that includes or intakes creative photo sessions with props, workshop courses, open mic events, and offer the opportunity to rent out the space to other local businesses. Projections. With doing the research, I found a proper space on Memorial Parkway located in Huntsville, Alabama, that I think would be a great way to kick off things. The rent price is $1,500, and with 2 vendors, preferably, I would charge each vendor $450 each. And with me, of course, the vendor that's bringing in the most income, I will be paying $600. Within the minimum week span, if each vendor were to have 7 clients in that week, in 1 week, we will have a total of $2,000 and $520. And with the net week profit, we would make $1,020. Overall, as the vendors, I showed a list of how much we would make within only using our basic package, only our basic, not, you know, our premium or deluxe. With our basic package, the makeup artist would make $490, hairstyle $700, and me, of course, $1,300 and over. And within that month, we would make over $10,000. Currently, Y Visuals has an annual mark of $20,000. And with this investment, it would definitely increase our profit margin monthly by $8,000 and over.
You've got a little over a minute left.
Yes, ma'am. This is me in action, actually in the studio. And over here, it shows a kind of idea how would I go about having those 2 vendors, the makeup artist and a hairstylist in the lobby. 5-year plan. I didn't do more of a timeline, but more so of me describing my plan. I'm sorry. For my 5-year plan, I would like to have 2 studios established, create jobs as far as hiring other photographers and secretaries and also creative directors in the facility. Also to increase our profit margin yearly. Short-term goals, I would like to increase monthly income by booking various packages from basic to deluxe. Doubling our vendors in each field of work. Whether we're doubling up on our makeup artists and hairstylists, we can have triple the team, if anything. But I will, of course, find more space and of course, in a secondary studio, you know, the bigger that we grow. Our long-term goals, making over $120,000 a year, tripling our clientele, and to have consistent event bookings so that can cover extra expenses putting towards the facility. Investment. With this investment and the opportunity, I would put towards studio rental, and I would put it towards studio equipment that would range around $1,500, including lights, backdrops, props, stools, floral swings, blankets, and to find a way to furnish the facility as far as couches, check-in desks, and lamps. Thank you so much for listening. I am opening the floor for questions.
All right, 4 minutes.
Well, I'll jump in here. First, I can relate to what you did. I put my way through a good part of high school and college as a professional photographer and did exactly what you did. And so I applaud you for doing that because it is possible, because I did it years ago. I guess a question for you, it sounds like from your plan that you're mostly going to do studio work. And then what's your plan as far as, because it seems like in my business when I did it, most of the money was actually printing and producing the photographs and framing them and selling them to them, and I never gave them the digital assets. What's your strategy with that? Or are you just going to, it's all studio work and you'll get the revenue from everything they order, or you just give them the asset and they can do with it what they want?
I would give them the asset and let them do what they want, but I also want to use the space to print out the products so I can give to the clients as well. Because with me not having a studio, is only a limited space that I would have.
Right, but have you thought about actually maintaining ownership of the actual digital asset? And if they want copies, they have to get it through you. That way you control the whole artistic process.
Yes, sir, I'll give them that option.
Okay.
Yasmin, I have a question. I was looking at your SWOT analysis, and is there a time that you are going to blow those particular areas out for your weaknesses, opportunities, threats, and strengths, so you'll be able to look at it in a clear way so you'll know what you need to work on? Will you be doing that in the future?
Yes, ma'am. As far as I know, one of my weaknesses was marketing. I do go by word of mouth and, of course, web, social media presentation, but I want to go further into getting contracts with other businesses to also expand my business and my name, and also do more paid advertisement on social media so more can view our site and what we have to offer.
Okay. Thank you.
Yasmin, can you revisit for me the types of events and photography services that you're going to focus on?
That I would focus on editorial portraits, but more so still doing outside work, as far as still doing weddings, still doing corporate events. With the facility, I will have also the space to obtain those equipments, because it's going to be more equipment than I can handle as far as the bigger the project it gets.
Okay, thank you so much, Yasmin. Great job, great questions, great answers. We're gonna go ahead and move on. Next up, this is our fifth pitch. We've got Jayla Thomas, and the title of her project is Mundane. So Jayla, can you hear us?
Yes.
Awesome. Jayla, where are you tonight?
I am in Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, very nice. And what's your major?
Interdisciplinary studies.
Okay, very good. Well, unless you have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and start the timer. I will give you a 1-minute warning, but the floor is yours.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Are you tired of planning Zoom meetings, going to Zoom meetings, trying to create an in-person ambiance on a virtual platform, responding ever so eloquently to questions, making profound comments, giving a stunning lecture, only to realize you've been muted the whole time? Seriously, I get it. My name is Jayla Thomas, founder of Mundane, a virtual event coordination service that collaborates with businesses to host and coordinate virtual events using 3D virtual event platforms. It all began with a sneeze that turned into a hospital visit, that turned into a pandemic that has confined us to our houses. Life as we knew it changed. Milestones that we celebrated were shifted to online platforms. Graduations were canceled, postponed, executed differently. The students suffered terribly. I was one of those students. My high school graduation festivities quickly shifted from joyous to disastrous all in one sneeze. What are we going to do? How can we do the things we used to 6 feet apart? What has the school decided? At one point, I got so frustrated, I just told my parents, I'll just get my diploma in the mail and let's just move on from this. But what if things didn't have to be that way? There was a virtual option that wasn't Zoom. I wouldn't have to coordinate it. Ladies, gentlemen, judges, I present to you Mundane. We are on a mission to simplify planning and coordinating virtual events. Though we have not launched yet, a survey we conducted showed that 83% of participants canceled in-person events due to the pandemic, and 66% of those participants hosted virtual events instead. Virtual events are not the same as traditional in-person events, but right now, they are the safest and most convenient option. Mundane is here to collaborate with businesses looking to host virtual events. We will find a platform that will create the client's desired ambiance, coordinate the event, and provide technical support the day of the event. Upon launching, Mundane will book events that will use 3D virtual event platforms, sell ad space, and consult businesses on the best virtual platforms they should use for their meetings and conferences. To validate the need for this type of service, we asked musicians if they would be interested in paying someone to plan and/or coordinate their concerts. 60% of participants displayed interest in this type of service, and 40% of that amount would pay a percentage of ticket sales, and 20% would pay a flat rate. Our research indicates that the events industry was valued at $1,335.4 billion pre-pandemic. We also found that according to a survey, businesses' travel and events budget is the third most likely to get cut during this pandemic. Conducting virtual events costs significantly less than in-person events, and we believe this will be central to Mundane's success. We are currently seeking an IT professional to provide expertise on common problems people face when using virtual platforms and how to prevent them. We are also seeking mentorship from an entrepreneur whose business is service-based. Our budget breakdown would be as such. In terms of the investment, we would use the money to register the business, create a website with Squarespace, and this cost would essentially cover purchasing the website, maintaining it, the domain for an entire year, marketing and advertising, a year's worth of internet security, VPNs. In terms of server security, we are still doing research. Zoom, Mood Up, the cost would be yet to be determined, and miscellaneous costs. In conclusion, we are living in a time when virtual events are, in most cases, the only option. We need a community of entrepreneurs who are willing to give 3D virtual event platforms a chance, and mentors to provide wisdom and ongoing support. The photo you see right now is what a 3D virtual event platform would look like, and this is Mood Up. The Mundane team consists of me, a former event coordinator. We believe Mundane can alleviate the stress businesses face when planning and coordinating virtual events, as well as simplifying the process. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start the timer for question and answer. You've got 4 minutes.
I'll jump in. Great job with your pitch. Really strong communication of the market opportunity. I think that even in a post-pandemic environment, we're going to see increased use of digital platforms for events and kind of facilitating gatherings. I was looking through your business plan. I do have a couple questions I was hoping you can expand on. You noted that there's gaps in your management team that you would need to onboard an IT professional as well as somebody who could advise on recommended platforms for facilitating these events. So can you talk a little bit about your timeline in terms of what helping a client might look like right now immediately in startup versus how you see that evolving?
Right. So right now, I believe that the way we could help clients would be if they were booking an event, for example. My personal recommendations at the moment would be if they're looking for a 3D platform that uses avatars, TO or Mood-Up, we would discuss what the event would be, their plans for it, if there were aspects that they did in person that could be translated like to an online platform, or if it couldn't, and see if we could figure out a way to work that out. And of course, the day of, like, they would pretty much plan the event, but we would just be on standby to make sure everything runs smoothly, and of course, provide technical support if needed to make sure that everything runs smoothly.
I have a question. I think you've got a great idea here. I mean, in my last business, I put in over 100 conferences a year and had a whole team. And this is a very, very expensive proposition. And now people are moving online. They clearly need help. But what I didn't see in your business plan, nor really in your discussion, is how you're going to charge for this and why someone should use you versus just buy. I mean, I can get access to some of these 3D platforms myself and just have somebody do it myself. What's your competitive advantage, and how are you going to charge for it?
Right. So I am still doing a lot of research on what to charge for it. With a lot of these platforms, it was hard to get a quote, so I am still working on that. However, I do believe it would be useful for businesses to approach my business to do this, because yes, you could do it yourself, but sometimes it would be more convenient for somebody else to do it so that you don't have to do all of the research and handle all of the phone calls, the interviews, and everything leading up to it, and essentially just to make it easier on the business.
So a related question, like some of the other participants here, have actually produced products and so on. Have you done a virtual event yet for anybody?
No, I have not. But I'm working on it.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to piggyback off your question. So if you have not done a virtual event, how do you know if the product is viable? If you have not actually tested it, is there something that we don't know that you've done? If you want to explain it to us.
Right. So right now, at the moment, I am working on just doing more market research, putting together an MVP of the product and testing it to see if people would be interested in this type of service and their thoughts on it, what they would feel comfortable paying.
Mm-hmm. Ms. Thomas, I have a question. I think what you will want to do at the end of this presentation, at the end of this workshop, is to go back on YouTube and watch this presentation, and you will, I think, identify one of your competitors. This platform was put together by bringing people together and having a host. This is a template for what you're trying to do. And there is a value to that, and it's the value of someone's time. I think one of the reasons why you're having a hard time getting a price would probably just be because people don't know what it actually costs to do something like this. So have you Googled virtual event host or planning services? What have been some of your ways of trying to find out who your competitors actually are?
Yes, so I have Googled first virtual event platforms, whether the platforms are 2D or 3D, and I did brief research that I definitely need to expound on other event planning services. I did not find a lot. I found more freelance event planners rather than an actual company. But yes, I will definitely look back over this program afterwards. Thank you.
All right, unless there are any other questions, we can wrap this one up, move on to our last presentation. Jayla, thank you so much. Great job, great idea. Last but not least, we have Rashida Wilkinson, and Rashida is pitching the project called Brown Skin, White Coat. Rashida, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Where are you streaming from tonight?
So I am currently at Oakwood University in Huntsville, Alabama.
Nice. And what is your major?
My major is health science, and I'm actually minoring in business entrepreneurship. Just took it up.
Nice. Okay. Well, unless you have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and start your timer when you start presenting, and I will give you a 1-minute warning. So whenever you're ready.
Okay. All right. Can everyone see my screen here? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I want to ask you, as patients, when we go into the doctor's office, do we ever ask about what the doctor went through, what their interests are? Do we even care? Well, of course not. We're there for our ailments and we're trusting the person involved. But I can tell you, between the white coats and the goggles and the name tags and the scrubs, that each doctor has a story, and each doctor also has a breaking point. So speaking with some of these doctors, as well as watching them on YouTube and on other social media platforms, we found that there are actually 3 things that they involve. So Black women who are doctors go through burnout, representation, or the lack thereof, and information, and the lack thereof. Well, I'm Rashida Wilkinson, and this is Brown Skin, White Coat. Well, Brown Skin, White Coat actually started off with me back in 2017 being at a community college and actually meeting up with other community colleges and going to our final event of the year. We had a wonderful speaker there named Julian Gordon, and he decided that he was going to put my school on blast. And one of the things he did was bring out the graduation rates for not even 4 years, because we didn't have any. We had them for 6 years, 8 years. And the next slides he brought up were for Black women, and it was too embarrassing to even take a picture. So what exactly is Brown Skin, White Coat? Brown Skin, White Coat is a platform, it's a safe haven, it's a virtual community where Black and brown female pre-med students, those who are health professionals, and even those in the medical schools right now can communicate, congregate, vent, rant, and figure out exactly what they want to do and how they want to get there. We focus on 3 specific things: mindfulness, mentorship, and management. And how do we go about that? Well, we start with the small things, because the small things make up the big pictures. Here are just sample slides from our first little soft research of our planners. And from these planners, I actually gave about 4 samples to 4 different students. Of course, I wanted them to be varied. So all of them, of course, they're in the medical field or wanting to go towards the medical field, but they're in different categories. Some want to be doctors, some want to be nurses, and some just want to be scientists. And unfortunately, one of them is actually graduating, but she was willing to enjoy the ride. And from this, you can see that they did score high when it came to our survey today, actually, because we had a mental health day, of management being high, the mindfulness being high, and the satisfaction overall of categories such as classes, finances, and even day-to-day routine activities being in control of. Here are some of their reviews from today in our little group chat. I like that it creates a clear path for me to stay on my goals. I wish I had this before I chose my major. It has stuff I didn't know I needed to get into before I got into med school. And can we have a platform for Black and brown men too? I still like this space for us, but of course, we can do that in the future. So from these 4 students, I actually went and did another survey with other students who I didn't even know on campus, as well as other schools in the surrounding area. 86% said they use time management tools. 32% said that they don't use time management tools, but the 56% said that they would be interested in the product. So of course, looking at our competition, we are not the only platform that does this, but with our platform, we do offer the brown skin white coat planner, as well as that virtual community and safe haven. And that's something else that no other person does. There is a pre-med planner, but really not a lot of people use it and not a lot of people know about it. There are virtual platforms and communities that they do ask about what it takes to get into med school, application renovation, and other sorts, but they can also not be budget friendly. And of course, they have the Happy Planner and other planners that are not geared towards pre-health students. With the 5K breakdown, I would use about 1,950 for technology to create a virtual planner, as well as a platform for those students and those health professionals. 275 for a trademark, 300 on marketing, $25 per person for a physical planner who are non-graduating, about $12 for a non-graduating student for the virtual digital planners, 281 for select students to get their social media revamped so they can actually look good to medical schools, and 400 for the medical school application scholarship. For the 5-year breakdown, we would start a website in the first year. Year 2 would be creating a program at Oakwood University to happily transition students from OAA to OU who actually want to go into the pre-health track. Year 3 is creating an app and a virtual planner for other health professionals. And year 4 is introducing the brown skin white coat to 2 other universities. Year 5 is reaching out to one other out-of-state university. And finally, when I was in my little group, they asked me why I wanted to create this and why I created this. Well, I said, seeing someone like me in the position I want to be doesn't make my journey easier, but it does let me know I'm not alone. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Rashida. I'm going to go ahead and start the 4 minutes on question and answers.
All right, Ms. Wilkinson, good evening. I was looking over your plan. I didn't really see, when you're creating this planner, have you thought about, or are you going to incorporate any type of add-in? So you'll have your general planner that, you got your standard, your dates, your events, mindfulness things, whatever. are you going to have some type of add-in for maybe discipline-specific careers, maybe something for nursing, maybe nursing, med school on a particular track? What else are you going to put in there aside from just the basics of a day planner?
Yes, I have actually looked into that, and with the samples that I created for the students, those 4 students, as well as my own that I use today. So we actually have not only the finances, we also have a group or a category in there that does look at job shadowing and tracking your hours with those job shadowing, as well as planning out through each semester, which classes am I going to take? What are the academic requirements for those classes? And do they even fit into the criteria of my financial aid, as well as are they going to fit into the requirements for whatever graduate school I want to go to?
Okay. The overall size of the planner, will it be something that's going to fit into a standard lab coat pocket?
Not a lab coat pocket, unfortunately. I know that with job shadowing as well as internships, that they do allow white coats for those year 3 and year 4 medical students, as well as maybe some of the health professions that I do plan on branching out into. But with the general population, no. We don't wear white coats as yet. That is the goal, but no, they cannot, which is why we're going to look into that virtual aspect so that they can actually have it on their phone.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
I noticed you budgeted, some money for creating that virtual, or digital kind of planner. That amount seems really low to me. Where did you come up with this number?
So the amount for the technology itself is going to be over 1,000, but that's because I already have some of the technology on hand. When it comes to the digital planner itself, it's mainly going to be kind of like a code or a program. What we are planning on doing for now is going on to Etsy and having our own site or our own page where we can sell this digital download, and it can be directly downloaded into their iOS or Android devices.
Okay.
Rashida, could you talk a little bit about the folks that you have on your team, or that you would want to have on your team for some of the mentorship and job shadowing opportunities that you would hope to connect your customers with?
Right. So some of these people are actual, I guess you can say, social media presences. They are directly health professionals. Some of them are year 3 and year 4 medical students, but the majority of them are actual Black and Brown health professionals who are in those local areas. So in Huntsville, Alabama, we will look at those who not only work at the local hospitals, but those who have their active practicing businesses.
A clarifying question, you would employ them, or
it would be more of a volunteer partnership. So when I was in high school, we had a health academy, and with that health academy, they did not have to pay those health professionals. They volunteered their time and their efforts to saying, we will allow these students on certain days, as long as they wear these scrubs, they have this in order, and they have their paperwork.
Rashida, I have a question. How are you going to ensure that your product has a strong competitive advantage over those who are similar?
So at the end of every school year, I do plan on having, I wouldn't say a virtual 3-day conference, but more of an open forum, virtually, just as we're doing, but possibly on Zoom, where we go over what did we like about the product, and of course, take input from the actual consumers. What can be improved? Do we want another aspect? How do we get the other aspect? Because with the feedback that I got today, I didn't even think of incorporating Black and brown men because I was looking at one market. And of course, the market could grow with the aspect of adding in those health professionals, but adding in the opposite sex into those health professionals as well will be a whole entire market that I'm eager to explore.
Thank you so much, Rashida. I'm going to go ahead and transition us into our next portion of the program. And a big thank you to all of our students who have come up with such wonderful, yes, big round of applause. If we were live, my ears would be bursting with the sound of applause, I'm sure. Well, we're now going to proceed to the deliberation portion of this competition. And this year we're going to be doing it in the live format so that the students actually get the most feedback as possible. So judges, you have roughly 20-ish minutes if you need to use that much time, and the floor is yours.
We're going to go in order.
I agree. Let's go in order of presenters. So who was that first? It was Y Visuals?
It was Imani, Parnell, IMV, and Art.
IMV and Art. Okay, that's what I saw. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is anyone who wants to go first, or just round robin?
I think we can round robin. I think that'll be good.
Okay. Well, I'll go first since I kind of brought it up. I thought she had good answers to the software questions. I did separately. I looked at her business plans, and I kind of came up with pros and cons of what I saw in the business plan, and then I juxtaposed it against the oral presentation. I kind of thought it was more of a narrative, the business plan, and not necessarily, it was more of a narrative, not a plan. I didn't really get the full breadth of a business plan, but I also have to take into consideration the majority of these students are not business majors. They didn't have the benefit of I don't believe they had the benefit of a coach or a mentor who could actually help them flesh out a business plan. They know what they want to do, or I'm sorry, Ms. Purnell knows what she wants to do. I think we just have to work on the overall plan. I also made a note to myself, it felt like she was looking more to get her help with her pursuing her dream versus help with pursuing a business. But I do know that they say, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. So when I kind of meld all that together, those are my overall feelings on a presentation.
Vern, I would echo your observation that it was more of a narrative. One of the notes that I took down about the presentation was a question, is this a lifestyle brand or is it a marketing agency? I saw a lot of talent represented in the work that was included in the presentation without a lot of substance there for a viable business plan to be able to sell those. Although there may be some market for selling art on merchandise, I feel like there maybe could be a bigger market opportunity with selling the services that could be focused on first with the merchandise added later.
Yeah.
Well, I felt as though to her target market, the range was way too high for the product that she's putting out. I think that it's more of a younger crowd, and I think that she should look at that niche versus an older crowd. I checked out her website, and it is the drawings are a little bit juvenile for someone of that age. So I think that that would be something that she may want to look at in the future moving forward.
And I would jump in and say, first I thought, she had a very well communicated plan. So congratulations to her on that. But I do agree with what Verna is saying, is that this is more of an aspirational kind of presentation rather than a real clear business plan describing something that can be realistically accomplished. You can't serve all the markets. You've got to pick one market and do it really well. And so in that area, I think on the understanding of creating and growing a business, the plan needed some help, but it's certainly realistic. She's very talented and clearly within a particular segment, I think she could do very well. We've got to balance that with the business sides of running a business.
Okay.
Given our limited time, should we move on? I mean, I don't know how we want to do this, Lindsay. Do we want to just give a score and then you total it up? I mean, how do you see this working?
It's up to you guys. I can keep track of a score. I also can kind of keep you guys on track and watch time and keep you guys moving to the next contestant, since we have 6. Do you want to do the scoring situation?
Yeah, I think, I mean, if each judge just reads off their score to you and then you just tabulate them, and then you can do the math.
Okay.
I don't know, is that going to work?
Yes. You can either tell me, or do you have access to the chat? And so you can also maybe enter it in there, and then I can tally them up.
Okay.
Okay,
so on the private chat side.
Yeah, you guys all have access to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so go ahead and give me your score for Iman with IMVN Art. And as you guys are doing that, we can move on to the second pitch, which was Michael Marshall and Damaged Goods.
Okay.
I'll jump in on that because we want to minimize downtime. I like the theme. We are all our damaged goods, and we're all trying to make the best we can. With an imperfect hand, and life is not fair. I think they understood a dynamic pretty well about who they were selling to. They did some good market research. The part that made me really nervous was that they were just getting their materials, their products from the local print shop. Mm-hmm. And so other than the design, they weren't really adding much value. In fact, my experience, having done lots of printing over the years through print shops, the materials that they're selling there are typically cheap Chinese kind of, garden variety products that are really poor in quality. And when you look at some of the brands that are out there, like Patagonia is one that I would point out. And I have a Patagonia jacket on right now, with all my logos on it, and so on. They really spent a lot of time researching and coming up with a very good product that is demonstrably different and better than competitors. And like, like this nano puff jacket that I have has now been imitated by all the major clothing manufacturers, North Face, Arc'teryx, you just go on, and Columbia. But they started with something innovative. I didn't see that in their presentation of what, other than some branding, what else were they doing?
Okay, so I'm just going to go through my notes. I thought it was very well organized and conceptualized. He knows what he wants to do. He has a great understanding of data collection and analytics because he's looking in, he's doing a dive into the statistics of his market, where they are. I know he could probably get a little bit more. It's a very well fleshed out presentation. I think the thing that I keep coming back to is it is such a tight market for merchandise. Everyone is selling a t-shirt. I know when I got out the military, all my friends after the war, they started their own t-shirt company. The military t-shirt market is flooded. Every YouTuber has merchandise. And so you're right, Kevin, he is going to have to differentiate, but I like the fact that he's done it and he's doing it, and that he identified a weakness, which is his supply chain. If I were mentoring him, I'd say, go straight to Alibaba, go straight to some of these other websites, get your stuff wholesale, bring it to the States, and then take it and get it manufactured, because that supply chain is going to be a killer. And when you're buying it local, you're paying a markup on top of a markup on top of a markup, when it's really easy to just get right to the distributor. I heard this presentation once before. I'm still just as impressed with it. I just think, like you said, there's got to be something that differentiates his trucker hats and sweats and unisex outfits from the next one. And I honestly just don't know what that is right now. I don't know how you differentiate other than innovation and making something that's going to be imitated by every other person. And then you'll be on the front end of that curve. And then that's when you'll be the style maker, which I think is where he wants to be.
Just a heads up, we are halfway through the judging time and we're a little bit behind. So we may want to move on to the next one, which is Robin Michael. Robin Michael was conversion, just a refresher. And yeah, I see you guys are typing in your scores for damaged goods. So thank you for that. Anybody have any thoughts on conversion?
I'll go really quick. I felt like it's a good idea. It's a good theme. I just felt like the presentation was an evangelistic effort more than selling me on an idea that can be profitable. But again, she's got a wide open market to who she can sell to. I mean, it's infinite, and Christians will support Christian branded products. I think we just need to get that idea fine-tuned with more business advice, and I think it'll do great personally. But I felt like the presentation was more of a, wasn't necessarily a business pitch.
I think for Robin and conversion that there was a misalignment between the vision for the company and the goal and the actual profit generator. I feel like the services that could be offered through the vision and maybe offering some programming could generate higher revenue at a lower cost than focusing on just merch sales, which is already, as we've talked about, even with some of the other pitches, a really saturated market. So I think there's a good vision for what the business would be about. I think there's probably an opportunity to revisit where the revenue model could really drive value for the company.
I really like their, the enthusiasm of bringing, I think there is a market for products appealing to the Christian marketplace, and I like their enthusiasm, and also their team seemed to have good experience. I think they were maybe really needed a little more realism of how realistic it's going to be to crack that market, because it's already pretty crowded.
All right. I will be the voice that moves you forward. Yasmin Lebrun, she did Why Visuals Photography. Any thoughts on that one?
Well, I'll jump into it. Having been in that business before and successfully, I really like. She's got skill. She knows what she's doing, and a good photographer is highly valued in today's marketplace. The only, I think she's very realistic in what she wanted to accomplish. Having a studio, having a place where you can hang your hat. Maybe the only area that I wish she'd have a little more clarity on was, owning the assets versus, giving the assets away. Most high-end photographers today that I know of do not let the digital work, they retain ownership of that. And if you want to use it, you have to buy it and get them to produce it in that sense. But I thought she had a very, very good plan, and she has some clear talent, and I thought it was great.
And it was, she actually, the notes that I have, she comprehensively identified potential competitors, and also she was taking advantage of her skill level and what she can bring to the table as a published photographer. She knew exactly what she can do, and she knew exactly where she wanted to go. And that's what I liked about her presentation.
And she'd been doing it, so it wasn't something new. She already knew what she was doing.
Yeah, I think there's a proven business that's already in place, and I liked her vision of being able to grow it and create jobs for more photographers. I think as that plan matures, looking at maybe focusing in on a couple industries or a couple particular kinds of events, whether it's commercial or a focus on weddings, or a focus on editorial journalistic, will help her find those right photographers to join her team so that it can grow.
Yeah. My only comment, and this is somewhat of a joke, having done that myself, never do weddings for your friends, because if you mess it up, you won't be your friends anymore.
Excellent wisdom. Excellent wisdom. Okay, the fifth pitch we have was Jayla Thomas, Mundane. What did we think about that one?
I'll go first. I loved this pitch. I was really captivated from the start with it. I also think that it's a very timely business, with a lot of opportunity to generate revenue, where I think there needs to be a lot more work and focus dedicated is in the business plan itself. I had some concerns with the business plan, repeatedly indicating that additional work and insight was needed in order to really discover whether or not it was a viable business model. It just didn't feel fully fleshed out yet. So I was like really excited about it, but then I didn't see a whole lot of substance represented in the business plan. And then as a kind of final anecdotal comment, I would say mundane, I feel these kinds of ongoing Zoom meetings are very mundane. And if I'm evaluating a partner for a service being provided to have an exciting event, I don't want to think of the word mundane. I want to think of excitement or something innovative that can really shake things up, especially as we're in this climate of finding ourselves in the ongoing Zoom cycle. But I do think that there's promising growth for this particular industry and these particular services. I just wanted to see it fleshed out a little bit further.
I agree. I've heard her before. She's got, I think of all of them, she had the best command of her material. She knows what she's talking about. She spent time at it. I've often given my students advice in the classroom that if you want to be a great entrepreneur, figure out what your customer wants before they know. And I'm probably sharing this something someone else. I didn't pen this, but be there with the product before they know they want it. And she's on the front end of it. And I think her lack of information in her business plan with market research is more indicative that there aren't any. She will probably be the first to market with this actual event planning in a digital space. And so there's probably going to be a dearth of information. And again, I think as most of the students suffer from the same handicap here, is that they did not have a good grasp of the business aspect. They know what they want to do. They just can't put it into business speak. And I think if all of them, especially her, if she had someone to mentor her in that area, this thing I really believe is great because no one else is doing it. And I even bounced around myself, and there's no one that markets it. They market on the outside, the periphery of the technical side or the software side or certified event planners, but no one has brought those two things together. And I think that speaks really well for her foresight. And I think that it's a terrific idea. I just know it just needs more meat to that business plan.
Definitely has a lot of value proposition, and to take advantage of the opportunity for something that's not been actually put out there. I think that she's on the right track.
Yeah, I would second. I thought her idea was probably the strongest single idea that I heard tonight. Because we know it's desperately needed. I am so sick and tired of Zoom. But at the same time, I think she needs to be partnered with somebody to do this technically, because putting these meetings together requires a lot of technical expertise. Yeah. And setting up studios and bandwidth and timing of materials and so on. And so I think she needs to partner with somebody. The other thing I would say in response perhaps to Vern is that there are quite a few people doing this right now. At least I get marketed by them all the time saying, hold my virtual event. And so that it is rapidly becoming a crowded market space. And there's a lot of poor solutions that are out there. I think the solution we're actually using for this pitch competition today is working quite well. And so kudos to the team who put that together. But everybody's getting into this. It's going to be very competitive. And the way you're going to succeed is be technically better at a fair, reasonable price.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to propel us forward again. We've got the last pitch, Rashida, with brown skin, white coat. And if you could give me your tallies for the last two, then I'll be ready. What did we think of brown skin, white coat?
I guess the question I had on this, certainly getting into professional school, is difficult, and you have to organize your life, and if you come from a background where you haven't been exposed to the planning and organization tools, it can be especially daunting. So I really think there's a real need for that. And mentoring people to achieve their potential and promoting diversity in all sorts of professional fields that are not as diverse as they should be. At the same time, I wasn't convinced necessarily this was really a business. It was more of a kind of a mission.
Mm-hmm. Kevin, I can agree on one point. On the other, when she is bringing this up, I saw this more in terms of the future. Becker. Becker does accounting and CPA training and software, and they become the preeminent source for aspiring CPAs to take and pass the CPA exam. And so there's a huge movement to get more minorities into the STEMs, more importantly, sciences. And so to have something that can be created, not just for, because minority students and Caucasian students, they don't learn differently. They don't have two separate standards, but we're trying to move more of them into the mainstream. And I think this product, she's got a built-in market, which would be almost every university that wants to improve their graduation rates, which is what she mentioned at the community college level, of their minority students, leaving all of the education shortcoming issues aside. That's not my point, but that is her target audience. And I think that once that product can be seen as viable and it works and it keeps people on track, students, I think every STEM program would want to utilize something like this as an additional tool, whether it's, I'm old school, I want a book and I want something in my hand, but the new generation, they want everything on their tablet. And, again, there's 100 different apps for 100 different things. I think if she were to make it, really drill into the things that are unique and necessary. Again, I think all of these students' ideas are marketable. But this one, I think, it can get legs. I think it can get legs because there's going to be a lot of people who would be willing to support it and give it a try, especially in academia.
I would just add to that. I think that there's a market for charging people for the kind of services, like maybe a plus up on just the planner, and having students who are really serious about going into medicine or into nursing. I mean, these are high paying professions. So if they already completed some level of education and they're just looking for somebody who can help them take that next step, I think there's a market for charging for those services. So I would evaluate the opportunity to hire on some of the professionals as coaches and mentors as a means of kind of guaranteeing success for the people who want to pursue it as a career path.
I just think she has to look at something that's going to make her unique and set aside throughout this process. And that will be her success. And that because there's so many other apps and so many other aspects along the same lines, she has to do something that's unique.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you, judges, for all of your very valuable insight. And it's pretty cool that the students, I think, can listen to all of your advice, even if they don't actually walk away with one of the grand prizes. So thank you so much for your wisdom. I'm going to go backwards from third place. And again, if we were in person, I would make you all do a loud drum roll, but this will have to do. In third place, we have Jayla with Mundane. Woo! Congratulations, Jayla. Oh, there she is. Congratulations, Jayla. You won $2,000.
Thank you.
In second place, we have, again, a drum roll, Robin with Y Visuals. Awesome work, Robin. You have won $3,000. Good job. Excellent idea. Oh, I see she's on there, I think. It's not, oh, I'm so sorry. I wrote this wrong. It's Y Visuals, but Y Visuals was presented by Yasmin. That is totally my bad. I'm so sorry. Yasmin, that would be you. Y Visuals. Y Visuals was the one that won that. Congratulations, Yasmin. In second place with $3,000. And then in first place, the biggest drum roll, we have Damaged Goods with Michael Marshall. Well done, Michael. Congratulations for winning $5,000.
Thank you.
Congratulations to all of you guys, including the people who didn't win money. These were all excellent ideas, and I can tell that you put in a lot of work to them. We can't wait to see where your entrepreneurial journey takes you. I'm going to go ahead and close with prayer, so if you'll bow your heads with me. Jesus, thank you so much for all of these creative and innovative spirits that are working to make your kingdom a more welcoming place, full of great ideas and full of full potential. We love you so much, Jesus. I ask that you would bless them in their efforts from this point forward as they continue a new part of their journey with these awesome ideas. We love you so much. In your name, amen.
Amen.
Special thanks to our judges and to Oakwood University for making this possible. Also, a special thanks to Kirk Nugent for production and the CoLab Incorporated team. Thank you to everyone who joined us tonight on our live stream. We hope to see you again. And in the meantime, be well and God bless.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. And thank you to everyone. She's done a great job. She's actually closed it out for me. I just wanted to say two things before we go. Tomorrow at 9 a.m., we have Brandon Sandler. And his presentation is going to be called Welcome to Wakanda. Welcome to Wakanda. He's a famed artist who helped create Shuri's iconic lab in the blockbuster hit Black Panther. He shares his story and offers an exclusive tour of his creative space. That's 9 a.m. right here on Oakwood University's Facebook page and YouTube channel, and on the OU Launchpad's Facebook page. So join us at 9 a.m. And then again at 3:30 p.m. we will have Mayor Matthew Pileggi, who in his presentation, he'll be talking about founders of the civilization, 5,000 years of African history. Matthew guides the audience on a journey of the human experience throughout the ages, inspiring examples of human potential and accomplishment many leaders have used for personal and community empowerment are dramatically illustrated. So you want to join us for both of those presentations tomorrow at 9 a.m. for Brandon Sandler and at 3:30 p.m. for Mayor Matthew Pileggi. We are so excited that you have joined us and you've been hanging out with us all evening. Special congratulations to all of the students who presented, period. But of course, we are definitely celebrating those who were able to walk away with some investing money to sow into their business. Thank you so much to the panel. Thank you so much to our host, Lindsay, for taking us through the evening. And with that, we bid you good night. We'll see you tomorrow.